Call the town council meeting call the town council meeting for February 11th, 2026 to order.
Councilman Haddock.
Present.
Councilman Brown.
Present.
Councilman Dennis.
Present.
Councilwoman Faison.
Present.
Councilman Ogle.
Present.
Mayor Pelot.
Present. Would you please stand for the invocation by Councilman Dennis and the pledge by Councilman Ogle.
Heavenly Father, we humbly ask for your wisdom, strength, and clarity during our decision-making tonight. Please continue to watch over our residents, employees, and visitors to our wonderful town. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As for approval of the January 14th, 2026 town council meeting minutes and also the January 28th, 2026 public committee meeting minutes, are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, they're approved. Also, the approval of the December 2025 financial statements, are there any changes, corrections, or additions there? Hearing none, they're approved. Third thing on the agenda is public comment period. Members of the audience will have 3 minutes to make a statement or express a concern at the outset of the meeting to the council. Is anyone here to speak to the council? Please come up. Introduce yourself and your address.
John Brewster, 105 Rampart Street. Since the gentleman with the farmer did not put my comments in the article, I'm going to reiterate again. I provided the council with a rehabilitation plan for our well that I think is prudent to look at. And I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at that. But also I believe, and I'll reiterate, that all of our decisions we make should be based off of data. The engineer admitted last week that we can get data on the well casing, if that's his concern, to say whether or not the well is beyond its life expectancy. I'll say it again also, hopefully he'll write it down this time, that before we spend $8 million on a new water well, elevated water tower, and other items of that large of a magnitude, I believe it should go to the voter. The second thing I'd like to say is, well, I'd like to ask the question. I've done some research about the chlorinated water being dumped into the river from the splash pad. Did we get a permit, and is that legal to do? Did we get a permit to dump nearly 3 million gallons of water per year into the river? And is it legal? Anybody know? Well, look, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else here to speak to the council?
Mr. Mayor, just in response to John, I think I did take all of your questions that you brought up and send them to the engineers to David and to Bia, who were here last month. I guess that was just a couple of weeks ago. So I'll certainly share with them or share with you whatever their response is to us. I CC'd everybody up here on the email. But I also wanted to one of the things we didn't discuss were what are the options with the water tower. And John had gone out and gotten an estimate for a ground level tank versus an elevated tank. So I put that into my email to the engineers, waiting to hear back from them. But the cost was substantially lower on that estimate, $800,000 versus $3 million. So I thought that's something worth at least asking the engineers if that is even a possible component of their plan, especially given the fact that our current water tank is ground level as well.
Thank you. Any other comments on the for the council? Hearing none, we'll move into our, we have one other special guest tonight that we want to recognize and honor. And Councilman Bounds, would you like to address this?
As a matter of fact, I would. This is, it's interesting. I think everyone that sits up here can attest to it. Being a councilman has some goods and some bads, right? But absolutely the best thing we get to do is recognize our citizens, especially when it's our youth, who's going to be the leaders one day of this community, and in this case, probably going to be one of the leaders in the country. I'm going to go on record. I've taken her dad all the time, and I'm going to go on record officially. This will be the first female president of the United States. Mark it down. No, it's my absolute honor and privilege to introduce not only a Madisonville resident, but my neighbor, Miss Beja Lopes Morgan. Beja is, we're recognizing Beja tonight. First of all, Beja is the amazing daughter of Martin and Pam Morgan, who live ironically on Morgan Street in Madisonville. She is a senior at Madisonville High School, and I will tell you, whenever Deidre called Pam and asked for her resume, the parents were very, very modest in what they shared. I've seen her real resume, and it goes far beyond the things that we're going to mention in this letter. And ironically, there's been some updates since this letter was written, which I will elaborate on shortly. But here's a letter that was prepared, written by the mayor, and he asked me to read it tonight. It's a letter of recognition. St. Tammany Parish Student of the Year, Beja Lopes Morgan. Beja, on behalf of our community, is with great pride and admiration that we recognize you as St. Tammany Parish's Student of the Year. The honor reflects not only your academic excellence, but also your exceptional leadership, service, and dedication to making a meaningful impact in your school and beyond. Your accomplishments speak volumes about your character and commitment, serving as the K-12 student representative to the Louisiana Board of Elementary and Secondary Education and as state vice president of the Louisiana Legislative Youth Advisory Council demonstrates a remarkable dedication to civic engagement and student advocacy. Your leadership as state chief of police of the Louisiana Association of Student Councils, North Shore Student Council Vice President, and Mandeville High School Student Body President for 24-25 school year highlights your ability to inspire and lead with integrity. It's going to be a while, so y'all be comfortable. In addition to your leadership roles, your continued service as communications manager of the Skipper's Buddy program, which I'm kind of partial to, Lighthouse Team Ambassador, Waymaker Mentor shows a deep commitment to uplifting and supporting others. Your more than 140 hours of community service and membership in the National Honor Society further reflect your strong sense of responsibility and compassion. This is crazy. Academically, your outstanding achievements, including a 4.67, that's not a typo, 4.67 GPA and a 34 ACT score. A testament to your work ethic and determination. Your plans to pursue public policy at either Duke University or Washington and Lee University demonstrate a clear vision for using your talents to serve others and shape the future. Beja, your dedication, leadership, and service set an inspiring example for students across our town and across St. Tammany Parish. We're confident that your passion and drive will continue to create positive change wherever your path leads. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. We're incredibly proud of you and look forward to all that you will accomplish in the years ahead. With sincere appreciation and congratulations, Jean Pilat, Mayor of the town of Madisonville. Hang on, before you talk, there's been some updates. So I'm going to make some creative edits here, so bear with me, Pam and Martin. First, Beja got Mandeville High School 12th grade student of the year, all right, at school. And then she got St. Tammany Parish 12th grade student of the year. From there, she went on to get named to regional honoree for the 1st District of the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. The state is divided into 8 of those districts, therefore she is now in the top 8. She's a top 8 finalist for Student of the Year for the state of Louisiana.
Before we let you speak, I have something else for you. Certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to Beja Lopes Morgan in recognition of your outstanding academic achievements, mentorship, and leadership skills. We are honored to celebrate all of your accomplishments. As a resident of Madisonville, a leader in your school and community, and the St. Tammany Parish Student of the Year, we're incredibly proud of you. Y'all come up and take a picture with her?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Now we're going to give you the floor.
Well, I just want to start and thank all of you guys for taking the time out of your busy day to recognize me. And I just want to thank you guys for all of your commitment to Madisonville. You know, I was born and raised in Madisonville, born on Morgan Street, and I can truly say Madisonville has just been the most wonderful community. I think seeing Mr. Bound's leadership, not only as my neighbor, but as a councilman, really inspired me to pursue civic service. And I'm just so grateful to represent Madisonville. In Baton Rouge, I love it. I'm Bessie. Whenever anyone asks where I'm from, and I say, oh, I'm from Madisonville. You know, Madisonville, best town in St. Tammany Parish. But truly, I thank you guys every day for your service, for your commitment to Madisonville. It's the most incredible community, and I feel very blessed to be a part of it. So thank you all so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Councilman Bound, you're right. That's the good part of this, for sure.
Make a motion to adjourn.
In new business, going into new business, we have a couple of resolutions we have to address tonight. Deidre, would you read the first one?
A resolution to support preparation and submittal of an application for funding through Local Government Assistance Program, also known as LGAP. Whereas the Office of Community Development is accepting applications for funding for the Local Government Assistance Program. And whereas one of the requirements for submission of an application for funding under this program requires a resolution of support from the municipal governing body. And whereas the town desires to submit an application for the benefit of the citizens of the town of Madisonville. Now therefore it be resolved that the mayor and board of aldermen of the town of Madisonville, acting as the governing authority of said town, does hereby support the preparation and submittal of an application for funding through the Office of Community Development.
There's a resolution on the floor. I would ask someone to make a motion to accept. Motion by Councilman Dennis. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bounds. Would you do a roll call, please?
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddox?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Bounds?
Yes.
Thank you. Second thing on the agenda is the CWEF resolution. Also, would you address that?
A resolution to support preparation and submittal of an application for funding through the Division of Administration Community Water Enrichment Fund. Whereas the Office of Community Development is accepting applications for funding for the Community Water Enrichment Fund. And whereas one of the requirements for submission of an application for funding under this program requires a resolution of support from the municipal governing body. And whereas the town desires to submit an application for the benefit of the citizens of the town of Madisonville. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town and Board of Aldermen of the town of Madisonville, acting as a governing authority of said town, does hereby support the preparation and submittal of an application for funding through the Office of Community Development.
Need a motion to approve that?
Move to approve.
By Councilman Ogle. Motion. Second. Councilwoman Faison. Roll call, please.
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddocks?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Bounds?
Yes.
The next thing that we do have is, I'm going to ask the council to make a motion to amend the agenda. That amendment would be to add a third resolution, and I'll have Deidre read it. It's from Clint Orey. Clint is the head of, and I'll give it to you officially, is the Director of Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. He sent us a resolution to present tonight, and we received it on February 10th, which was Tuesday at 5:33, so we didn't have time to put it on the agenda. So if we can get a motion, that's not approving the resolution, she'll read it, but that is to put it on the agenda. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Haddock.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimously. Okay, would you read it, please?
A resolution of the Town of Madisonville, 2026 St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Whereas the Town of Madisonville recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within Madisonville. And whereas the Town of Madisonville has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as 2026 St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. And whereas 2026 St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in Madisonville from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. And whereas adoption by the Town of Madisonville Town Council demonstrates their commitment to the hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the 2026 St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town of Madisonville, Louisiana, that the Town of Madisonville Town Council adopts the 2026 St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation.
Okay, and prior to asking for approval for that, I'll just read you the email that was sent to us. It said, "Dear hazardous mitigation participating jurisdictions, we're pleased to share that FEMA has granted the St. Tammany Parish Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan approved pending adoption. This allows each participating jurisdiction to proceed with formal adoption of the plan. Please note that the previous hazardous mitigation plan expired in November. St. Tammany Parish and participating jurisdictions were granted a temporary extension due to the federal government shutdown. As a result, timely adoption of the updated plan is critical to maintain eligibility for FEMA mitigation grant funding. The participating jurisdictions are Abita Springs, Covington, Folsom, Madisonville, Mandeville, Pearl River, Slidell, St. Tammany Parish, and Sun." So this came in Tuesday night. I'm sorry that we didn't have time to put it on the agenda, but I do see it as being critical for us to get this approved, and hope you do too.
Mr. Mayor, I went to a meeting on this probably over a year ago at Coop Drive, and it's an overall almost $6 billion plan for the parish. The bulk of the money would go toward a levee in the Slidell area on the east side of I-10 that's prone to flooding.
Is that the flooding?
Right, yes.
This isn't it.
I'm reading it right now,
Is
and it's that as well as the elevation of 5,500 homes in the parish.
This is the FEMA hazardous, what I just read to you.
This is what I'm reading on it right now, and it's just all seems similar
Okay.
to what was presented at that meeting. I don't know if, was any of the council members go? But it did. The thing that interested me was that, well, first of all, it was something that was authorized but not funded, which we see a lot of. But also, the thing that interested me was this money to elevate 5,500 homes, which hopefully we would be able to get some of that for here in Madisonville. So I'm certainly supportive of this effort.
Okay, well, yeah, and certainly we have participated in this, and we've received funding for elevating homes. We received an application just yesterday for a home that's being elevated here in town. We recognize that one was raised last year on 8th Street, so we have this. I anticipated this being pertaining to hazardous mitigation for storms, for FEMA storms. I didn't know it included that, but if that's what you attended and heard, that's all the more reason. So I'm glad you endorse or go along with that. Do we have a motion to pass this?
Move to pass it.
Councilman Ogle, second by Councilwoman Faison. All in favor, please give a roll call. Deidre?
Councilman Ogle?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis?
Yes.
Councilman Haddocks? Yes. Councilwoman Faison?
Yes.
Councilman Bound?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Department head reports, engineering.
Okay, we gave you a summary update for the month. If you go down to the wastewater treatment collection system project, Grady Crawford is continuing to install liners in the sewer system, and that's underway. Let's see, next page, under the Lydia, okay, is, just know that that was submitted, and they really authorized you $1 million grant to start off with. That's in there.
That's the grant that would require the meters for the water, am I correct? No,
Yes.
different.
No.
The loan requires the meters.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The loan can either be 46% or 100%, and that's yet to be determined.
The actual $1 million that Joe's speaking of has been approved, and we have $1 million to apply to whatever we do. And it's not a percentage, it's a full $1 million. So that's already been approved, and now the loan application has been submitted.
Okay, the next one is on the tennis courts, the playground area. We're waiting on word from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. They have some more funds available, but we hadn't heard anything yet from them. Next page. Under the Water Street improvements, the sidewalk, the contractor is waiting on his 45-day clear lien period, and you just passed applications, resolutions for the CREP and the LGRAMP applications, and the Pine Oaks gas improvements replacement. That bids the 24th of this month. And the Fifth Street water main project, again, we're waiting on a clear lien from the contractor. So we'll have those, should be ready for final approval next month. Questions?
Do you know the time frame on the loan, or when we might find out if we're approved or not?
I don't know, it usually takes several months, whatever. It just depends on what the other applications that they get in and how much money they have and things like that.
So maybe reasonable by this summer we might?
I would think so, yeah.
What about the two capital outlay requests?
The legislature goes into session here shortly, and you'll know when they finish.
So by June, probably?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Engineering? No questions? Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. Thank you, Mr. Joe.
Police Department?
Good evening. We had a relatively slow January, which obviously we're happy with. Historically, January and February are our slower months. I'd mentioned this one at one time. Traffic is still our greatest challenge, which it's a challenge, but we're still somewhat happy about that, I guess, without sounding silly. But, the fastest we had was 103 and a 55, obviously, for speeding tickets. That was a big one. We had the Mardi Gras parade the other day, which we'll elaborate on over the weekend, but it went very well. It'd be for next month, but it was very well attended, and it was weather. Mother Nature agreed with us really well, so it was a fun weekend. It really was. We had a really good attendance at it. So I'm going to go straight into our statistics right now. Our statistics are up as far as traffic. Everybody knows that that's our greatest challenge down here, and we're going to try to stay on top of it. We compare from the previous year, the traffic stops in 2025 was 83. Traffic stops this year was 146. Citations were 83 last year, 150 this year. Warnings were 18 last year, 31 this year. Our accidents normally stay about the same. It was 3 and 2, and our arrest was 5 and 4. I know that sounds like a lot of traffic stops and a lot of citations, and it is. I have no idea. We've done everything we could to try to slow it down. We bought street signs, we bought lighted signs, bought some other warning signs on side roadways, and it's not like we're hiding. They know we're out there. We report this every month. We tried to sit down and strategize the best we could to try to come up with some better ideas, and it's just the amount of traffic that we got comes through this town is amazing. And as long as they keep doing it, we're going to keep doing what we do. I don't know what else to do. We tried to come up with better ideas and just get out there and keep writing tickets, and we're trying. But when you got to make 146 traffic stops and write 150 tickets in a month, like I said, we've advertised it. We've done everything we could. We got more cars. We don't hire. We sit on the side of the road. We drive down the street. And we're going to keep on doing it. So I'll stand for any comments, ideas.
When we first started, I guess, pushing hard on the speeding,
Yes, sir.
8 years ago,
Yeah, it's been about 8 years. February, I started on March 18th.
weren't we getting as many as 250 tickets?
We were.
Yeah.
So it's come down. Yeah, we were averaging probably back then, the first year or two I was here, we averaged probably between 225 and 250 a month. So, yes, they have reduced, and I'm sure from that point till now, our traffic has increased. There's absolutely no doubt. One of the biggest increases we've seen in our traffic is when they put the center dividers, the cables on the interstate. Everybody used to, if you came across an accident, you just shot across the median, went to the other side. That was kind of like the common thing to do. Now they're stuck. So we got more people taking Highway 22 to get through to the causeway and the other areas east of us. So, look, I'm not whining, I'm not complaining. We're going to keep doing it. But yes, they have come down from that point. But at that point, it was like the Wild Wild West. It has slowed down some to that. But I know we repeat these numbers, and we're not tooting on the horn or anything. It's just we're very fortunate to only have 2 and 3 and 4 accidents a month with that amount, with that volume of traffic coming through. We're thrilled to death.
Brian, with 17,000 cars a day coming through here.
Yes, sir.
The percentage is very small,
Absolutely.
and so it's just unavoidable, I believe.
Yes, and you bring up a good point, Councilman, you really do. With the volume of traffic that we have, with the amount of stops, the amount of tickets, and the amount of accidents, it's amazing if you look at it that way. You're right. And it's the one study we had done with that, it's about 15,000 cars. That was actually several years ago. We haven't done another one. But it's primarily speeding is our greatest challenge. And we got it posted. The state posted the sign. We do not. The signs in town, we do on our streets. It's well posted, it's well lit. We've invested in electronic signs. We've done everything we could. So we're going to just keep spanking them as they come. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions?
The latest traffic counts I saw were about 6,000 at the post office coming into town from the north side, and about 15,000 at the bridge here.
Yes, sir.
So I think maybe it has increased, but thank you for the work you're doing. I think public safety is one of my biggest issues.
Yes, sir.
Being on this council. And if you have to write 300 tickets a month, that doesn't bother me.
Yes, sir. We truly appreciate the support. And look, we're out there. We're a small department, but we're active. You're right, Councilman. We basically got 4 entrances into the town, including the Open Shore Highway. And that area has actually increased. Not as much as the primary highways, but that road has increased also. So we appreciate it.
Chief, a couple things.
Yes, sir.
One, when you mentioned 146 citations in a month, and you kind of said it, and you indicated that's a lot. Speaking as a councilman on the safety committee, more importantly, speaking as a citizen, to me, it's staggeringly low. When you think about what he just spit out, 21,000 cars a day enter this town. It's entering the town. We're looking at, I think everyone that walks these streets, that has kids that try to cross this highway, knows how challenging and difficult it is.
Yes, sir.
Right? You guys are all over the place, and I am super excited to see these numbers going back up. I'm not looking to give people tickets, but we pulled over 146 cars in a 31-day period. That equates to pulling over one vehicle every 5 hours in 10 minutes. So if someone wants to get on social media or come to this town and complain that you're pulling over too many people, have them call me. I'll be more than happy to pose that argument. I'll have them stand in front of my house, any street in this town, and watch people fly down the streets, watch them fly into the city. So what you guys are doing is absolutely 100% supported. I can speak for myself. I hope I speak for everyone up here. So keep doing it until people learn to slow down. You're very obvious. You sit out in the streets. We've got signs everywhere. We got flashing signs, and they continue to want to fly through here and have no regard for our youth and for our citizens. So don't be hesitant when you say we went up from 84 to 146. I hope next month it's 250. I want to see it go up because I want to see cars slow down. I don't care how many tickets we write. And we've talked about this. You're on the same page on this. We've talked about this all the time.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to see you be reluctant to say it went up that much because you guys and that gentleman sitting in the back row and all of his counterparts are doing your jobs, and let's keep it up.
Yes, sir.
It's our job to protect the people that walk the streets of this town, so thank you.
Well, we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Maintenance? Good night, thank you again. Congratulations.
All right, gas system still kind of mirroring the housing market out there. It's still kind of slow. Only 7 new houses in the last month, and most of those are custom. The subdivision houses have kind of really slowed down in the past 6-8 months. We did just finish a new phase of Fairhope whenever they decide to kick that one off. All we have to do is actually put the gas on it. We had the Mardi Gras prep for the ball, the parade, the prep, and then the cleanup. All that went well. We had a lot of freezing weather. Gas system did excellent. No trouble whatsoever. Even one of the days, I think it was like a Sunday, Energy had a power outage in the Tanchboro area. It was like 1,000 houses. So we even withstood that. I don't know how many of those houses had generators, but I bet 20% of them did. So we withstood all those generators running plus the normal housing load, so.
And would you reflect back just a few years ago, what if, or could have,
When did we do that upgrade? 2019. So before that, on many nights, I slept in my truck on Highway 22 at the parish line, watching a gauge. We still had radios in the truck at that time. I'd radio somebody, Shafunk the Club, turn a valve. I'd radio somebody in town, turn a valve, trying to steal Peter to pay Paul, just to keep the gas going. But ever since we spent that, it was supposed to be $2 million, and it ended up being over $1 million upgrading that station. It totally changed the system. So we're no trouble whatsoever with that. So knock on wood, that keeps rolling. The water in town did fine in the first round of the freeze, and I don't know if people just didn't turn their water off, but when we got in like that second weekend of cold weather, the Pine Street well couldn't keep up, so we ended up having to do our thing to keep the water going. That lasted for 2 nights, and then after the cold moved out, everything went back to normal. So that was the issue with the groundwater some of you guys had, was just the water pushing from way over there over here, trying to keep the demand up.
Wait, can you say that again? So you opened up the valve so that the people on the south side got some of the north well's water?
I had turned, the Pine Street well was turned off. The reservoir was 3 feet from being dropped.
Yeah, I was wondering, because some,
from the dripping?
Morton's reported that they had brown water.
She had brown water and low pressure, because she just was getting the grunt of everybody dripping the water. That was a Sunday night morning? Yeah.
So you think when she got that, it was because we were running just off the north well?
Correct. Mr. Joe touched on the sewer lining. They're almost finished lining everything from St. Louis south. Once they're complete, I don't know when it's going to take place. They usually don't give me much notice, but we're going to smoke test the same area to see, 1, what they missed, and then 2, if there's anything on the private customer side could be causing water infiltration. We did install the new speed sign on Main Street by the Maple Drive Park. We are about to, and Courts told me they already did 2 loads of limestone on Lake Road. So I've got the other ones ordered for tomorrow. We're about to do a kind of a new topping layer on the parking lot at Lake Road. 5th and Morgan, I know some of y'all who live close to Morgan, the potholes from the water, I know you know, they're finally repaired, so they can call for their substantial completion on that. The 5th and Morgan on 5th and 5th and Johnson, there were 3 potholes. Those are finally patched. And just this week by Madison Ridge Green Space, we had another big group of pine trees, big pine trees died in like 2 weeks. We're assuming beetles, but this time of year it shouldn't be beetles, so we don't really know. We took those down because they were right by the big power line. And we also had to trim some trees for our insurance on the building. So,
Any questions?
The rate study we talked about.
down here. Don't forget the leak down here.
I actually just called and locate for here and that one again. I'm gonna finally. This one here stuff comes and goes.
Yeah. The rate study, we talked about at our last meeting. You said we're number 10 on the list to come up?
Correct. She told me about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I reached out to, I just wanted to share some information with other council members since we discussed this at our last meeting, and it's been kind of an issue with people weighing in on their water rates, that we're going through this rate study. So I reached out to the Louisiana Rural Water Association, Timmy Lemoyne, and asked him a few questions to follow up on some of the questions that we had here. And he asked me to share with all of you this information, if you can pass it down, Keith, which is what goes into that rate study. And we were asking specifically, if we borrow money, does it factor into the rate study? Versus if we get a grant or we put town money into the work that we do on the water system, does that factor into the rate study? And his answer to me was, if we borrow money, the service on that debt goes into it. So it's going to add to what our rates would be. For any money that we have, that the town has, that we can put into whatever we do to fix the water system, that doesn't go into it. So I think it's an important issue for us to factor in as we look forward to spending money. If we're going to have a new well, we're going to spend a year on the waiting list, probably spend another year, David said, from Owen and White, waiting to get it drilled and up and running. This year, in our budget, we have close to $1 million that was originally allocated to the riverfront into the fishing pier. And I want to suggest, maybe next year we'll have $1 million, and maybe the next year we'll have $1 million too, if we don't spend it on other things. But I want to suggest to my colleagues up here that we consider not spending any of that money until we find out what we're going to get in terms of a grant. If we get no money over a 3-year period, we could potentially pay for the well with our own money, not factor that into the rate study. If we get half of it paid, we could potentially pay for the well and the water tower if that's the route we go. So, and maybe the next year, we start changing the pipes out, which is another $1 million. We just wanted to offer this and kind of as an update from what we discussed before.
You know how I feel about this. If we can get the opinion from the AG that says that we can utilize that budget for this purpose, I'm all on board. I mean, I would rather us avoid raising rates, and I don't mean use every penny in our coffers, right? I'm talking about specifically surplus funds that we can set aside for this to lower our issues with the rate study. If we can prevent everyone's bills from going up astronomically, I'm 100% in support of that. I just want to make sure that we are within our right to touch that sales tax account for those purposes. Until now, the town has functioned under the assumption that that is not accurate, that you cannot touch those funds for those things. I want the clarification from the AG's office before we were to ever agree to use that. And I know that they can take time. I understand. I know, Bruce, did you see my email? I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I did hear back from them, and they do need a resolution, and they heavily insinuated that they would like you to be involved in that, the creation of that. So I put the information in there, but I'm happy to meet with you if you need to.
Please do, because I did not see your email.
It's bmd@bruceseniorlaw.com.
No.
I'll get the correct one from you then.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristen, I would say that even before then, because it could take a long time to get an opinion back, that we ask our auditors, is LaPorte still doing our audit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we ask them if they have an opinion on this. And not just for that, but, you know, it's been suggested that we can't use the money in that sales tax fund on salaries. And I would argue that maintaining our systems, whether it's salaries or a contracted group, we should be able to use that. But really, I'd like to see our auditors, just the way David came here and Bia were here, you know, at our last meeting, have them come up here and do a presentation so everybody in town hears what the restrictions are on the funds that we have, in their opinion, and start with the auditors. And while Bruce is working on the resolution, I'd certainly vote for the resolution. I think that's, you know, a good idea. But I'd start with the auditors because I think we could get them in quickly.
But there's certainly funds available to do or to start doing whatever we see a need to do. The sales tax that have been approved in the past, my belief, so that it's very clear what they can be used for. But again, that's just my beliefs. and it's been the beliefs of people prior to me. So, I'm going over through years of serving. But there are utility funds available that could be used for the water or sewer or gas, or, there are utility funds available.
In the surplus, in the utility surplus, is that what you're referring to? Okay.
Yes. So, those things have been available. Actually, it's been in our budget to, in the budget you're operating under this year, there's $500,000 in water main replacement that hasn't been used. So, you can look at other things, but there's money in the budget. It just hadn't been used. So,
Mr. Mayor, when you say there's money in the budget, the $500,000 for water main replacement is a request from the state to fund that, right? We are not funding that.
no, there's also a request for capital outlay for $500,000. But if you look in your budget, there's money in the budget for that. Now, I would suggest that you wait through the capital outlay to see if you're going to get it. And if you get it, then you're going to either get a grant or you're going to get a capital outlay fully funded request. And the percentage that the town would have to put up certainly would be out of that $500,000 that's in the budget.
I have a question in regards to the asking the auditors to become involved. Are you asking them to make a decision whether we're spending the money properly? Is that what you're getting the auditors involved for?
That's what their job is. So what I'm asking them is, I'm saying, could they look at this sales tax language and ask them, hey, look, if we use some of the sales tax money on the water system, do you feel like that's in line with what this sales tax language says? And when I read it, it says purchasing equipment for all the public works. And if you look at the accounting definition of equipment, it's any asset really long-term that you're going to depreciate over time. It's usually $5,000 or $10,000 minimum. That's my understanding of what equipment is. Now, I don't know if the state has some other definition that they apply to this. This was an ordinance that was passed in 1965, so over 60 years ago. But to me, if the auditors look at that and they say, yeah, that's an acceptable use of this money, then that would give me a great deal of confidence that we can move forward and use some of that money toward the water system.
So I would say you're looking for misappropriation of funds from the tax fund? By asking the auditor, is that what you're after?
I mean, I'm the one that's requested it from the auditors, and that was not my intention. I don't think anything's been misappropriated. Mine is just clarification. I just want clarification to know if, hey, have we been able to use this? If we can, we would like to move forward and possibly use it for our utilities.
Yes,
That's my intent.
Avoid misappropriation, basically.
Yes.
One of the sales tax reads, dedicated and used for the purpose of constructing, purchasing, improving, maintaining, and operating recreational facilities, constructing, maintaining, resurfacing, lighting, and improving public streets, constructing sidewalks and bridges, acquiring and maintaining a garbage disposal site and garbage collection equipment, and purchasing equipment for all public works and departments of said town. That's one of the said taxes. The other one reads, for the purpose of maintenance, repairs, operation, and equipment for public works and sewer, streets, recreational areas, police department, town hall, and administrative offices of the town. So there's two separate taxes, and I think it's very clear, but I mean, asking somebody else's opinion, we can ask, but I think it was intended to be separate. It is separate, and it states exactly what it's for. And I just read it verbatim.
Yeah. In the section that says purchasing equipment for all the public works, that's the part that's in question to me.
I've had different responses from different people.
Equipment, yes, equipment for all public works and departments. Yeah, I mean, it's for,
No question about public works, that the water system is public works.
but that's not equipment.
Right, the question is on the equipment.
There's no question, it's clear.
Yeah, no, the question is on the definition of equipment. Isn't it an accounting definition? Does the state have some other strange
Well,
statute somewhere that says you
You can
can't?
try to read something else into that, but there's nothing else to read. That's what it states. It says equipment. Any other comments? Once he finishes, I'll be.
I'm done.
Any questions for Kyle from anyone? Is your question for Kyle?
It's in general to what topic y'all are
Okay,
discussing.
thank you, Kyle.
Kyle, can you talk to me after the meeting?
John Brewster, 105 Rampart Street. I guess from what I heard, equipment, let me back up. We've been dealing with the brown water for an extremely long time. And I did a little bit of quick research, and I think while you're waiting on a permanent solution, you would quiet everybody down if you spent $300 per household on a water filtration system. That would just be one thing that I would suggest. I think if there are 300 homes, I estimated $300 for a 3-stage water filtration system. So you're looking at 90 grand plus whatever labor it would cost. And I think you would eliminate a lot of our problems by doing
That
that.
could have been done in your comment period at the beginning. It's not on the agenda tonight, and we're not going to discuss it.
So what would it take? Do I just request to get something on the agenda? Can I do that?
You can.
Okay.
You can.
Can you put that on the agenda?
No, she can't, but you can call it in.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
My worry right now, Mr. Mayor, in spending any additional money on the water system is it will factor into the rate survey. So like, let's say it was filters or something like that. If you look at what the paper that I just gave you, they're looking back 2 years plus any planned, expenditures in the water system. If we spend really $100,000 putting in filters or whatever, right now, while we're going through the study, it's going to affect water rates.
How is it? How is that going to change on the water rates for our expenditures?
It would add to our expenses if they're
If we add
evaluating it for
expenses,
ourselves.
it's going to increase it. It's going to increase the rate. So adding to that, I don't know how that's going to bring it down. I'm in favor of doing improvements to the water system. I've always been in favor of, and I'll continue to be in favor of, using what we've been recommended to use to improve the brown water. In agreement to improve the brown water with the chemicals that are recommended to us to do that. I'm in favor of changing pipes along with adding the chemicals to do that. And I'm not opposed to doing some things to improve the water and the quality of the water. If people use, we have people who have swimming pools. They use chemicals for their swimming pool, and we don't want to use it in our water system. Yada order. So all I'm saying is, I'm not opposed to doing some improvements to the water system, and I'm in agreement that we want to solve that brown water. When we do have it, it's certainly an inconvenience to the residents who have it. And I'm not opposed to trying to do something to help them. And had we a year ago taken the recommendations that was given to us, we would know right now if that had worked. But we don't, because we didn't take professional opinions to improve it. And that's just my thoughts there. You're out of order again, I'm sorry, you're out of order. I'll recognize you in a minute. Is there any other questions here? Okay,
We actually voted 5-0, as I recall, to delay, you're talking about the polyphosphates. We voted 5-0 as a council to not put those in there.
we did.
And I'm proud of that vote. The thing that worries me most about two things, one was just that if we put it in and we say, all right, the system's fixed, when in fact it isn't. The other thing that really worries me, Mr. Mayor, and you saw the pictures of my water recently, if it did work and it hid that manganese that's in the water, when I get that level of manganese in my tub, I don't know what's in there. And I have 2 infant granddaughters that I bathe in that tub. And while everything I've read about manganese says that it's not a hazard to adults, I have found several articles that say it's a hazard to infants at high levels. And when you look at what we have high levels some of the time. It's not high levels coming out of the well, as you stated before. And it doesn't even, because of the level there, it doesn't even call for polyphosphates. But I'm proud of that vote. I'm proud that all 4 of my colleagues voted with me to not do that.
Certainly.
And I'm looking for a real solution to this issue.
Well, as you know, we didn't do it because of the vote, and I just have to feel comfortable stating my opinion too. I mean, I don't have a vote on it. It wasn't injected into the system. It was recommended by 5 different engineering firms, and truthfully, until we were forced to inject the chlorine, the manganese was in the system before. I was drinking out of the hose pipe when I was a kid, and most people who have been here has been doing that. And I had manganese in the water then, but I didn't know it because it wasn't showing. So it's always been in that system. I'm on that same system, and I've drank out of that same water and that same well for many, many years. Now, again, the well shows that it's not a large amount of manganese coming out. You're right. And if we treat the water and we change pipes, we certainly have a possibility of not having a problem.
I agree with that, and, you know, we started to move forward with changing the pipes, and that got a 2-3 vote. It was me and Kristen voting for it, and just to go out to bid, not to change the pipes. So that's not available to us either. It is part of the Owen and Wright plan. My suggestion at that time was to start with the first 2,000 feet. Their project, as recommended to us, is the 5,000 feet along Old Punch 2 Highway. And it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's an 8-inch line. Not sure what the original was. Do you know? 6? Okay, so we might have to replace the whole thing at once versus part of it. I don't know.
You want to come up now, please?
Stacy Delbane, 103 Renee Street. First of all these chemicals in the system are hazardous to your health. And if you don't know it, take a look at the preservatives in your food and drink, look at your cancer rate, and let me tell you now, I'm going to say it again. I have 6 doctors that keep me alive. Not one of my 6 doctors is going to tell me to drink water with polyphosphate in it, because it could kill me. None of your water companies put polyphosphate.
That's not correct. That's not correct. Abita and Kentwood put phosphates in their water.
Is it listed on the bottle?
I don't know that.
Is it listed on the bottle?
I was told by the company who sells the chemicals, who actually, when I sat down with them for 15 minutes, and not only was it those two places, but Baton Rouge, Livingston, Walker, Denham Springs, Hammond, Ponchatoula, Covington, Slidell, Mandeville, that they all have phosphates, a certain amount, in their water systems. And
it's a chemical that
It's a
will kill you.
chemical.
It's a chemical that it is a salt
That's something now,
used
because we voted 5-0 not to
but
do
you
it.
still refuse to see what it is. It's a chemical used in fertilizer. It's a chemical that was used in soap, and it was taken out
It
of
was approved
soap,
by the State Department to put them in.
and the state is wrong.
Well, I know, and you're right, thank you.
Excuse me, the states and who's of American teachers like I am? I don't think so, if they can't pass middle school science.
Let's see. Mr. Downey, your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Some of the more time-consuming matters that I've worked on this past month is the sign ordinance, of course, short-term rentals, and we'll be discussing that at I assume, at our next town committee meeting. The roofing contract for the old town hall, I met with the architect on 2 occasions, and so we have that now. The daily meetings with the mayor, as I've suggested, many times before, we meet at least 4 times a week. Attendance at Mayor's Court, but that also includes a review of tickets throughout the month, the communications and meetings with not only attorneys but also violators, and the attendance at Mayor's Court, the review of resolutions, and also I had a meeting with the deputy assessor, tax assessor relative to unassessed properties, and I'm working on that right now. And finally, of course, the attendance at the council meetings.
Any questions for the town?
You mentioned the roof. Are we at a final price on that yet?
On the roof? No, actually, it's going to be going out to bid, but it's anticipated to be under estimate, under budget. That's the anticipate by as much as, well, I don't want to say much because we haven't got the bids back, but the architect anticipates it being under budget.
Okay, so if it's under budget, we received $250,000 from the state for that?
180,000.
If it's under that, what happens with the rest of the money?
We don't get it. They don't give it to us. Any questions for Mr. Bannon?
You said that wasn't your email address. I've got emails with what is your email address?
It's BMD at Bruce M. You forgot the M when you stated Bruce M. Danner Law, LAW.com.
No, that's what I've got. I may have not said it, but that's what I've got. Okay, I'm not crazy then. I had it. I pulled it from another email, so I wanted to make sure.
Well, if you did that I should have gotten it. Maybe
Okay.
I missed it. I'm not sure.
I'll resend it.
Okay.
Maybe you could print it out and hand it to him.
Council comments? Councilman Oak? Councilman Dennis?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the police department and the maintenance department for everything they did for the Croce Funka Boat Parade this past weekend. It went well. Everything was cleaned up afterwards. Movement of the stage a couple of times, I apologize. But we'll get that squared away next year. But I just wanted to tell y'all thank you for that.
Councilman Haddix? Councilwoman Faison?
I've shown a couple of you up here tonight, but if you want to stop by before we pack up and head out, Chris has made some progress on the automation of payments for the pedestals on the riverfront. He has an interface that's set up. It's not completely finalized, but if anyone wants to take a look at it, I'm happy to show it to you. It's good progress, so I think we'll be able to wrap it up in the not too distant future. So.
Great. Thank you. Councilman Bounds? I have no comments. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion by Councilman Haddix, second by Councilman Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.